And Azuki's really she's kind of interesting in the fact that she has like a zoner kit, right? She definitely has a zoner kit. All of her tools are, you kind of want to be far away from the opponent because they get better the farther away you are. She has the ability to like whiff punish you anywhere on the screen. Oh, she very, very strong neutral. I wouldn't really, would I call her a zoner? I mean, not really. I wouldn't call her a zoner. You really don't want to be here always. You definitely want to kind of go in and out. I'd call her more of like a pseudo zoner. She's kind of more like Phonon, I guess, where very, very strong neutral. Definitely not a hit and run because Uzuki has really good offense as well because she has Dolphin and she has really good offense as well. So she's just pretty well rounded. This character has pretty much every tool you could want in this game. I'd say the only thing she's lacking is some kind of I mean, she doesn't have a meatless reversal, right? No meatless reversal. And her anti-airs are a little weird. This doesn't go, this is like straight up. This just goes straight up. And then up Dolphin, so B Dolphin, is like okay, but it gets the job done. That's pretty much it. Her tools allow her to do a lot of stuff. She's very, very well-rounded character, like very well-rounded pseudo zoner that has set play as well. Two different kinds of set play actually, because she has coffin stance and she has her items. You're not a real Uzuki player if you don't use both, because I use both. You definitely want to use both because they're good in different situations. Air coffin stance will it's much more safer lockdown set play, and then items are obviously when you get really tricky. This is for the mix and stuff like that. So yeah, she's pretty much a pseudo zoner. You know, really good rush down, really good defense, really good neutral. She's got it all essentially. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about now. But are we ready for some tips and tricks? Are we ready? Everyone locked in? We locked in for this? Because we have 15. We have 15 of them. Some of them you might know already. Some of them you probably don't know. Tip number 1, which is something that I found out recently myself, which completely changes my opinion on this normal. Well, I already had high opinions on this normal, but it is even better now that I know this. But if you did not know, tip number 1 is spacing out your 2Cs. So this move right here, 2C. Spacing out your 2Cs for better frame advantage. Now, what do I mean by that? So let me actually pull up the frame data so I can, because it should be on here. Uzuki's 2C is pretty active. It's 4 frames active. Now, how does this relate to what I'm talking about? So if you didn't know, hitting this move later in its active frames actually makes it more safe. So usually when you press 2C on block, it is a -7. So still really safe. That's pretty safe for Uni. This is pretty safe for a C normal, like on no cancel. So when I mean no cancel, I mean not canceling at all. I'm just letting it rock. I'm just doing this and letting it rock. So you can make this even safer by spacing out your 2C so that it hits on a later active frame. And in fact, you can make it so safe that you can make it -4 on block, which is actually insane if I can get it. You're not gonna be able to get it like easily, like right there. You can make it -4. Look at this normal. It is a half screen low that leads into a full combo. 12 frame half screen, like low. It moves her forward. Like, so you can make it extremely safe. And this makes her no cancel game better as well, because you can do this in block strings as well. Like, I think, yeah. You can like do something like that, or if you start with 5C, you can hit it like this, make it even just a little bit safer. Makes a big difference, because when you're no canceling this move, since it has so much stagger window, no one's going to mash on this. Like, Like, for example, you can frame trap very easily with this move. Super easily. So it makes it a very good reset point for offense. So a lot of the times, if you've ever seen me play, I'll just do this. I'll just do this. It's so funny, but it's very real. Doing this is extremely real. And then when you combine that with like you'll be like right here, right? And then you do your 2Cs. Leaves you out a good space to anti-air as well. But you'll be doing stuff like this. And then, you know, when you frame trap, you do Dolphin. And Dolphin, spaced out Dolphin is a very good frame trap. Because it hits super late in its active frames. And it'll anti-air as well. So if they're trying to jump, you'll hit them. So this is what you'll do a lot as an Uzuki player. Like when you have him in the corner. It's so crazy. It is actually nuts. So yeah, keep that in mind. It's just a nice little thing to know. So if you hit your 2C on a later active frame, it'll be even more safe. Less minus means that you can act out of recovery faster. So you can maybe walk back, you know, dash up after if they're too scared. So yeah, pretty nice. This is my first tip. It's pretty easy to do, I'd say. This is pretty easy. So yeah, hopefully that's cool if you didn't know that. That is the first tip. So my next tip is abusing your rebeats. So Uzuki is very privileged in the fact that she has 2 -1 rebeats in 5C, 5A, and 2C, 5A. -1, -1, but she also has, which is really cool, she has a 0 on block rebeat. Which is actually insane that this character has it. You do it by doing 1 hit of 5B. In Under Night, having a 0 on block, rebeat, -1, even -2s are very good because it means that your opponent has a very small margin of error to mash out on your pressure. They have to be really ready for this reset because rebeats are essentially pressure resets. This is a pressure reset. If you are good enough at the game, you could mash out right here, right? So let me do this. Yeah. So rebeats are pressure resets. So you can, if you are good enough, you know, react to the situation and mash out, maybe jump out, etc., etc. So how do we abuse your very strong rebeats? Well, for one, since your rebeats are this good, this is what makes Uzuki's pressure actually really rush down oriented, which is weird because you can do stuff like this. You have to be it's pretty tight, but having -1s allows you to get dash up throws on with green shields. Like having rebeats this good. Other characters cannot do this because their rebeats they got like -4s or -5s. It's pretty much impossible for them to do stuff like that. But Uzuki, she can get grabs like this, which is insane. So this is what I was talking about when I was like, she's a soner, right? But her offense up close is actually really scary because if she's checking you for shielding, like you have to be very careful against Uzuki because she can just easily brick break you whenever. And you can do the same thing off of 5B1 as well. She can do the exact same thing off of this as well. So that is extremely strong. That is super duper strong. Being able to do this in uni is, I'd say, a trait of a good character. And when you get good at this, you're like, people are gonna be so annoyed. So yeah, that's the first thing you can do to abuse your rebeats, is definitely checking with green shields. And then the next thing is checking people for mashing. Now, I said you can mash on rebeats, right? But having -1s mean that, you know, you can't press certain buttons after the rebeat. So let's say hide 5B is 9 frames, right? We got hide 5B, 9 frame mash, really good mash out, you know. Anti-airs is very active, you know, it's a wall. If I try to run it, I'm just gonna get hit, right? You know, I'm doing my rebeat pressure as Uzuki, right? Look at, like, you see why this people hate fighting this character. People hate fighting this character. Because when you have -1s, you know, your normals are only 1 frame, you know, worse. So, Uzuki has 3 7-frame options. For 5B is 7 frame. For 6C is 7 frame. And Dolphin is 7 frame. I don't know why it's 7 frame. I don't know why Dolphin is 7 frame. But it's 7 frame. So this allows Uzuki to just essentially just keep her turn after her rebeats. So your opponent has to think even harder just to mash out. Because, you know, I could, you know, walk back and bait it out. You know, I could maybe backdash away. Like, and then you also have to account for frame traps as well. You gotta worry about the frame trap. So you're getting overloaded with information, and even mashing on a rebeat is not safe because she can easily just keep pressing after it, which is just crazy. You can just straight up beat. I'd say, I mean, you can trade with 8 frames. You can trade with 8 frames. You can just straight up beat certain 9-frame mashes after her rebeats. Like, it's crazy. Look at the 5B one. You get to keep your turn as well. Actually, it's crazy. This will level up your pressure like a different level, because you'll do stuff like this, or like Dolphin, and it's still your turn. So it's not even a terrible situation if it doesn't work. And then, like, I'll just show you straight up. It just straight up beats like really slow C normals. Like, all these options just straight up beat it. I'd say if I had any recommendations for what you should press on the rebeats, I would recommend always doing Dolphin or 6C. 5B is a little sus because it's, I think, the smallest 7-frame hitbox. So sometimes you'll miss the first hit and you'll get stuff like that, where you see, like, right there, you'll still get hit. And it's just inconsistent when you can do 6C and check them, or you can do Dolphin. Let me show you the interaction with a 6 and 8-framer. Luckily, Hyde has one of the best 8-framers in the game, so you can see, look, just trades, trades, trades. It's so goofy. It's so ridiculous. So Uzuki has, like I was saying, pseudo zoner, right? But insane pressure for some reason. And you can keep your turn after 6C, like you can 6C Dolphin, or you can just no cancel 6C because it's very safe. So Uzuki pressure kind of looks like this. That's kind of what her pressure looks like. And you can mix it up with no cancels and staggers, special cancels, frame traps. Like, it's crazy. It's so silly. It's super dumb. I don't know why they gave her -1s. There did not need -1s, but I'll take it. I'll take it. I know how to abuse -1s. So that is my next tip. Very easy to implement. Just no. 2A whip is not -1. Oh yeah. Thank you for saying that. You do not rebeat with 2A. Rebeat with 5A. 5A will give you your -1s. You're going to be mostly starting pressure with 2A anyway, so you're going to be saving your 5A. Okay, so that is second tip. Next one is very simple, so I'll do this one pretty fast. But it is, when I learned about, because I didn't really understand how to use this normal, the way you're supposed to use it. But when I was at AWT, I learned, like, holy shit, this is one of her most powerful, like, neutral pressure tools. The only normal that I think beats it is 2C, because 2C is insane. 5B. Let's talk about 5B. This button, when you don't use Dolphin, because I know Dolphin does everything, right? You know, it low crushes, anti-airs, it's super active, it does everything, right? But you can't forget about the rest of the character's kit, and 5B, it kind of does the same thing, but it allows you to keep your pressure. The first hit isn't very disjointed, but the later active frame hits are very disjointed. So essentially, the way I would describe this move is, have you ever played against Byakuya, right? So Byakuya, a lot of the time, will preemptively press 5B to stop approaches. It's basically a wall. And that's the way you use 5B. 5B is just an insane wall tool. So I recommend, you know, if you want to check people for jumping, check people for like assaulting at you, jumping, like dash ups. Really just doing preemptive 5B is really strong. It is very, very strong. And funnily enough, 5B is a really good reset point. Because guess what? She can easily frame trap 5B. Like on block easily. You can do 5B. 2C, that's a frame trap. 5B. 5C, that's a frame trap. I think if you space out 5B, Dolphin, that's a frame trap as well. Like, you cannot mash on this move, like, on block. It's -4 as well. Preemptive 5B is really strong. So even doing, like, just dash up 5B like this, 5Bing as a wall tool is very, very strong. I was really having a rough time with people assaulting at me. So, this is what usually, the thing that annoyed me a lot is stuff like this. Stuff like this is very annoying for Uzuki. Now, you do have good answers, like I said. You have, like, Preemptive Dolphin. Assault does beat 6C. 6C does have a weakness in that you can jump over it. So you can do Dolphin to beat stuff like this. Preemptive Dolphin, Dolphin is just really good. We know this. But 5B, Preemptive 5B is so good at hitting people out in the air. Like, just pressing it if you think somebody's gonna do something. It's super strong. So just doing stuff like dash up 5B is really good. Don't forget to have a confirm for this as well. Even if it's bad, you know, have a confirm. Especially if you get a counter hit, it's really easy to confirm. Yeah, 5B is 6 frame active. Treat this move like Byac 5B and you will be having a field day. Like I said, you know, hitting people out of the air, stopping approaches. It's super strong. 2C, 5B, 6C, I say, are the buttons that are like really broken. Like this button is just broken. This button's insane. So that's my third tip is when you want to wall people out without giving up your turn. So next tip. The next tip is a way you can use CS. So I know a lot of Uzuki players probably have a rough time figuring out what they should use CS for on this character. Well, I have just the thing for you. And it's a very simple application of CS on this character. So let me give myself CS. So one thing you can do when you have CS with this character is that you can use CS in tandem with special moves to make your shimmy more safe. Delay some kind of option in response to throw, right? How the throw game works is you'll do, you know, a simple, you know, frame trap block string, open them up, and that's when opponents start to delay tech. They will start to tech later. So this is something you can do with CS first. I'll show the air coffin one because that one's it'll make more sense. So everyone knows about how broken air B coffin is. It's extremely disjointed. Hops are up in the air, right? But the bad thing is if you do this to break throws, you're punishable. So if you can't do anything. It's not your turn. You just die. It is not your turn at all. So how do we fix this if we're going to use this as a shimmy? Because it's a good shimmy. It is a very good shimmy. We use CS. So if you use CS, you can actually keep your turn. And it's gapless. You get a gapless, pretty much a gapless overhead. So this allows you to keep your turn. So this makes this a very strong shimmy, and I'll show you a big example why. Because if I have the Akio VO, it completely goes over VO. It's so fucked up. It just goes completely over it. And then another thing as well. There you go. It's so messed up. His anti-air OS loses as well to it. So some characters can hit her out of this. Some characters can. But I'd say majority of anti-airs get folded pretty bad to this. You just fall to the floor easy, get a nice pickup. You'll get your decent, you know, DP punish. So it's extremely strong. What else could I show? All you need to know is that it'll bait VO. It'll bait VO, and it'll also bait certain anti-airs as well. So it just makes it it's a very strong, like, shimmy option. Extremely strong when you have CS, though. You need CS. Now, you have another option as well for characters, like, say if you have characters that, you know, that beat this, right? They beat this TK. You can either, I'd say don't TK it and do it the way I'm doing, where you do jump forward a little bit, and then do it, because it puts you up higher. Or hold up forward and then do it a little bit after you jump, right? Like that. So I have another option that is pretty good as well, which is your other best shimmy when you have CS, which is actually Up Dolphin. Up Dolphin is a very good shimmy option because it catches jump, right? Catches jump. And it will also go over throw, because I don't remember what frame she's airborne, but she's airborne pretty fast. So it'll go over throw, and it's safe. And if you need to keep your turn, you can keep your turn very easy, right? Very easily keep your turn with meter or CS. So you can do things like this. And you can just easily bait VO. You can easily bait VO on your shimmy attempt. And then if they throw, they're trying to tech. Beats throw. Isn't that crazy? It's so sick. It's so sick. Beats the 3C as well. This will do everything for you. It'll literally do everything for you. And if they jump, hits them out of the air. And then best part is, it's your turn. Now it does leave you in the air, so it might be a little rough of a situation, but you get some kind of, you know, air mix up possibly from this situation. You can do a gapless JC like that, but you have to be careful about shield, right? So you can't. You'd have to do some kind of air normal, but I'd say it's not terrible. It's not a terrible spot to be in. So the 2 throw shimmies you'll go for a lot is 236, 236B, not 236A, because it actually does not. It doesn't go over lows. It doesn't go over throw either, I believe, or at least not as well as 236. Go-to shimmies are 236B. And then jump coffin, and use your CS for these shimmies, and you'll be a lot safer. You'll check a lot more stuff. So that is my 4th tip. Excuse me, is using CS with your shimmies. And now the next tip. So if you don't know, Uzuki's 236s, or J236s, actually overwrite the poison bottle. Poison bottle. Literally, I think, in my opinion, it might be the best item, because it literally just flat gives you like a bajillion damage. So it's just free damage, a free 600 damage, which is fucking crazy. That is crazy in Under Night, and it puts them in the poison state as well. But you don't want, you don't want it to. You want to get the full damage in your combo. But if you don't know, poison bottle, air poison, so J236, air poison overwrites the poison, so you're doing technically less damage than letting the full duration of the bottle rock. So let's do let me think what combo I will do. Let me do that. This is the combo I will do. The 66B. Still did a pretty decent chunk, right? You can definitely get more if you let the bottle rock. So hit him with this. Let's do a completely different combo. Let me do this. That definitely did way much more damage. You can see how much more damage it did, and it's still doing the poison at the end. So the basic gist of this is that if you proc a poison bottle, like if they get hit by poison bottle, do not use air poison. Do not. You are missing out on so much damage. Yeah, this will be put on the YouTube. Look at how much damage, and the poison was still going through that entire combo. This is what happens when you let poison bottle rock. By the way, you get damage like that. You get crazy damage. The only time you will be doing air poison is at the end. You want to save your air poison for the end of the combo. So you can do it at the end, because the poison duration's probably going to be gone by the end of the combo. But you want to let the entire poison bottle duration go. Because in Vorpal, that's straight 800 damage for free. So that makes, like, a shitty 2A confirm do a lot more damage. Like, it'll do a lot more damage because of that bottle. So that is the fifth tip? That is the fifth tip. So now we have tip number 6, which is a very simple one. And it has to do with air poison as well. If you didn't know, air poison is very active. It is extremely active. So if I do round start, you know, TK air poison, I'm +2, but if I, you know, back up a little bit, there you go. So it's so active that you can hit it. It's the same thing with 2C. You can hit it on a later active frame so that it is more plus, which is extremely good because it makes her zoning game better because, you know, +2 means that your opponent can kind of do a lot. But if you're +6, that makes this 2-2. Her 2-2s, which are 16 frames, 10 frames. So that can check more stuff. It's extremely important to do this because it allows for easier confirms because you're hitting on a later active frame. So a lot of the time what happens is you'll hit it like that and you could maybe get a run up because you hit on such a late active frame. The character really thrives right here because this is when you're gonna get that more plus PK 236. And not even just for getting plus frames, it also just makes things more safe. It's just going to make it more safe to use this move as well. You do air 236 like right in front of him, it's pretty minus. But even just like that, it's plus. Like, how is that plus right there? That's so crazy, actually. Or like air poison, like a higher up one. Hitting it on a later active frame will make it way much more safe. Like, look, that was -11. You're gonna get punished for that. That's punishable. But if I do it right here, it's already a lot safer. Do it right here, that's -4. Extremely safe. Yeah, I'd say this is her best neutral tool, and this leads to the situation that she wants, which is getting poison proc on them. You want to get poison proc on them. So very active. It walls people off. You know, you can use this to cover approaches from the air and on the floor, so it's very important to space out your air poisons so you can get more plus frames in your pressure and be more safe, right? And it also is very important for you can use this to get better Oki as well, which I will try to show. Okay, you see that? So hitting on a later active frame with you know, poison and combo will allow you to get interesting confirms. So in some combos, you know, if you want to be creative, you can hit it later and then save a bounce. Because remember, air poisons, both of them use bounces. They always use bounces. But you can skip, you can not waste a bounce by hitting it on its later active frame. Not a lot of Uzuki players have messed with this very much, but it is something, if you're interested in, you can lab out. Maybe lab some confirms where you hit it later so you save a bounce. Completely save the bounce right there. I'm gonna be able to do like a crazy poison chain at the end. Super crazy poison chain. So yeah, super cool. And then another thing, this I'd say is not super practical, but it could, you know, if you want to lab combos, it could get you something cool. I'd say the next thing about this is a lot more practical. So what combo should I do? Maybe something like this. There you go. So you can hit the poison since it's so active, you can hit it later, like I said, later in the active frame, so it makes your your item toss way much more plus. So usually on a knockdown, right? Usually on a poison knockdown. Oops. So usually you're gonna be +4, right? Majority of the time, +4. That's the magic number. A poison proc TK 236 is majority of the time +4. But when you use this trick, I'll see if I can get it again. When you get the trick, you are way. That was +15 item toss. Very cool trick. Very practical trick. If you can do this, you can really you can make your knockdowns a lot better. Because with +4, you know, it leaves room for air. Like you could get mashed on your dash up. It's not like you. I want to be plus on my item Oki. I want to be plus. But yeah. That is my 6th tip. So it's very important to space out your air poisons, your J236s. Spacing them out leaves a better frame advantage on block, makes you more safe. You could possibly save bounces in the combo, and it makes your Oki, it can make your Oki a lot better as well. And then to top it all off, another little thing as well, you can use force function to position yourself in the right spot. So it really does make her neutral really annoying and tricky. So keep that in mind. You can use FF to space yourself. And now we have our next tip. Next tip that I have in line in the list is utilize your items to throw out more items. So, you know, seems straightforward, right? So a lot of items allow you to get more items out on the screen. You can use items to cycle out items. It's item cycling items. So let's take an example right in the corner. I need to be on bomb. So say I'm on bomb, right? Say I'm on bomb. And I throw them. Wait, actually, are they going to get hit? Okay, good. You can use bomb to set up a plus on block rabbit. It's very simple application you can do with bomb to start, you know, getting used to cycling your items on block. And remember, items don't go away on hit, so even if you fuck up and they match, right? See, even if you fuck up, like bomb got you. Bomb will protect you. But if you do it right, you can get it plus. Or you can make it a little bit, it can be a little bit minus, but you have rabbit on them, so. Yeah, see? So you have the protection of bomb, so if they mash, bomb will protect you. You can do charge, but charge is a little bit scarier, because maybe they could react. For the real crazy people, you could do that maybe and maybe get away with it. You'd have to do it pretty early, though. Or something like that, if they're really scared. But I would not recommend doing that. So. Now, what do you do with rabbit? So with rabbit, if you didn't know, I guess this is actually 2 tips technically, because if you didn't know, you actually recover faster out of the poison animation if it gets hit by something. But you're like, how are you gonna hit it with anything, you know? Because you're stuck in the animation, right? You're stuck, so you can't really like. You can't like hit it, you know, during the startup. But you know what can hit it during the startup? Rabbit can actually hit it during the startup. So for sure. So you can have you plus on block poison toss, which is really dumb. It's really dumb. You can do something like that. Plus on block. It's one of the goofiest things this character can do. So you do something like this. Plus on block poison bottle. So that means you're getting a free, you know, in-vorpal 800 damage and a non-vorpal 600 damage, which is, it's just crazy. It's actually just crazy. And this lets you also rotate into bomb. So you see where I'm getting at. At least when you have bomb, you can cycle through. You can, if you want to, if you need to, you can cycle through your items to get the item that you might need in a situation. Like, say if you need a little bit more damage to kill them with throw, and you have the item on them, you can just cycle into poison, do a block string, cycle into it, and then throw out poison. I fucked up, but you get the idea. So with this concept in mind, you can use your items to cycle around your items, which is super cool. It's one of the higher level things that also hasn't been explored a lot, but I've been trying to explore it more and more. Have it, throw out poison, then you have bomb, you throw them, and it loops. It's super cool. It's honestly super cool. And then another thing that I'd say is, say if you're all the way across the screen, right? If you can get bomb and bunny out, just keep chucking. Keep in mind the cycle. Don't forget, FF item toss does use grid, so keep that in mind. You will use a lot of grid doing this. You give your opponent a lot of grid. But if you really want to like end an end game scenario where it's like the opponent is pretty fucked, because they have to deal with like 2 rabbits on the screen and like 2 bombs and a possible poison bottle, don't be afraid to, let you just keep tossing items. Don't be afraid to, because this could just lead to an end of the game scenario. Very strong to have all this shit on the screen, because you just get in for free. And it buffs your throw damage. Like, it's just really annoying. And now we have a completely opposite tip, in that sometimes I'd say it's good not to throw any items after mid-screen throw. So what do I mean? So when you throw someone mid-screen and you toss an item, you're pretty plus, and you can meaty them after your item toss. You can do that. But the big thing you're not thinking about is you're forgetting that the opponent can tech. So you can't actually meaty them, and they get out of the situation entirely. So sometimes, depending on the matchup, it might not be a good idea to throw an item after, and instead just chase them down to the corner. And then you get a way better situation, because they're in the corner, and they can't avoid poison. So they have to eat the damage. Or maybe there's bomb, and then they have to take the mix-up situation. The opponent can very much just back tech, or like tech and then backdash and get away. So you have to be a little careful depending on what items you throw. It's still worth it sometimes, because maybe you want to cycle out of poison so you can get bomb. Or maybe you have bomb and you want to cycle out of bomb. Bomb is also a good safety option after throw. You can use this to keep yourself safe. Majority of the time, I don't throw item after, because missing out on this free damage is really sucks to miss out on the free damage, and it really sucks to miss out on the bomb safety. Like, if the opponent just gets away and hides across the screen, kind of sucks. You kind of wasted the item when you could have got a lot more. Now, there is an item that I will say you should throw every single time, and it's Rabbit. Rabbit is just too strong. Rabbit is really fucking strong. So yeah, be cognizant of when you throw out when you throw your item after throw, because it might lead to a worse situation because you let your opponent across the screen. Like, big example is say you have a grid lead against your opponent, you throw them. You maybe don't want to throw your items after, because you might lose cycle. So you want to be aware of the cycle and what matchup, like the matchup of the character that you're fighting, because sometimes it's better to just take your Oki and dash them to the corner. And that is my 8th tip. Something super simple that you can easily apply. Just make sure to look at the bottom of the screen sometimes, and maybe if you're playing against a zoner or a character you actually want to get it, like, be in their face, then very important to know. Next tip is another very simple application of CS. which is her only plus on block item throw besides, you know, using an item to throw another item. So you can actually use CS to get a plus on block item throw. So you will do 6C, 6C to FFCS. Allows you to get a +1 on block item throw. It's very important to do because this is another way that lets you cycle and lets you just cycle an item when you want. So when you're doing pressure and you're like, okay, I need to use CS, I have to use CS so I can play for cycle. It's a very it's high level game knowledge that you use your CS early in the cycle so you can play for cycle later. Because having cycle actually makes it harder to win Vorpal. So doing something like this early on in the cycle just to get your item out is very strong. And look, I will have the Byac player mash. He is not winning here. And Uzuki has a 5-framer, so she can beat every single option after this besides Wald's command grab. I think that's it. Wald's command grab and like Enkidu's parry, I think, are the only things, I believe. And then obviously DPs win, and I believe you can still VO right here as well. It does not have the lucky number that allows you to safe meaty VO. I think if it was +2 it would. So you cannot bait VO, you do have to worry about reversals and VO and stuff like that. But still it's very strong because you get an item right on top of them. And another really cool feature about this is that it is a very good green shield check as well. So say your opponent shields early on in block strings, so you're just doing pressure and they're shielding like a maniac. Like you can punish this with your A normals, right? But maybe if you're like over here a little bit farther, it's kind of hard to punish that. You can't really punish that. You can't dash up throw this far away. But you know what you can do? You can do that and then get a guaranteed grid break. This is another really strong feature of a unique character, is having some kind of CS check option that allows you to catch with green shields. And it's also on a normal that everyone wants to shield because 6C is a bajillion hits, you know? So it's a very easy spot to shield as well. So yeah, that is my 9th tip, is that using CS, if you're not gonna shimmy, you know, use it to shimmy, right? You can also use it to get a plus on block item toss, which also acts as a green shield, with green shield check as well. Next tip, we're on tip number 10. We got 5 more. And the next one is something that I learned recently that I didn't know. A decent bit of long time Uzuki players know. And is that Dolphin carries dash momentum. Say if I backdash and then do Dolphin, you know, it's not gonna hit. I am nowhere near you. I am just nowhere near you at all. You know, I can even move back like even a little bit in the middle. It's not gonna hit. But Dolphin is it's such a good just special move to it's literally brain off, like, okay, I'm overloaded, I need a move that I can press that will beat everything and I don't have to worry about anything. That's what Dolphin is. It's an, like I said, anti-air, low crush, yada yada yada. Lily does everything. Lily makes breakfast for you, goes to work for you. It does everything. You're gonna use this a lot. A lot. But you know, whiffing it is pretty bad. It's definitely got a sizable amount of recovery. So you'll definitely get whiff punished pretty hard. Now, how do I prevent this? Now, actually, like I said, she carries dash momentum. So it allows her to fling the Dolphin further. You can visibly see the difference. You see how she rockets forward because of the dash, having that dash momentum. So if you do it properly, you know, make those missed Dolphins not missed. I'm doing it like at the exact... I'm doing it even earlier than where I did it right here. Like right here, it just whiffs. But, you know, if I dash and do it, it'll hit. Definitely gonna have to practice it a little bit, but luckily Uzuki does not have DP motions. So you can actually just do dash up DP, and that'll work, like 6-6 DP or 6 AB, you know, in the DP. And that's usually an easy way to do it. That's something very easy that you can do that'll make your Dolphin spams even more annoying. I hate that this move does everything. So I hope they nerf it a little bit eventually. But, you know, might as well enjoy your broken tool while you got it, am I right? So, next tip we have is puddle cancels from normals can actually be used to check shield, and you can still frame trap. When I mean puddle cancels, I mean like button into puddle. There's a lot of points on this character that are like, that scream like easy shield. So for example, 66B, so a lot of people are gonna mash shield right here. How do I stop people from doing this? You can actually go in the puddle and then hop out, and you can get a grid break sometimes. You should be able to grid break right here. Oh no, you can't. So in some situations you can get a grid break, right? But the big thing is that you can stop people from shielding your very shieldable normals with puddle and get a throw mix-up right here. So even if you don't get the grid break, you get a throw mix-up, which is really nice. But big thing is that you can puddle cancel every hit of 66B, which allows you to bait the shield whenever. And then the best part is that you can still frame trap. So if you do puddle instant 236, that is still a frame trap. I think if you do A normals, yeah, A normals are a little too fast. This is a pretty complicated thing about the characters that you're gonna have to know, like what frame advantage your puddle cancels are. So like 66B puddle cancel is -14, very unsafe. But there is a normal that lets you puddle cancel pretty safely, I'd say. Before we go into that, like let me show you some other ones. Like 2C puddle is -10, 5C puddle is -10. 5B puddle is -9. I actually did not know this, actually. I did not know it was -9. That's pretty good. -12, -12. 4C puddle cancel. -10. So you're pretty minus majority of the time. But like I said, you can frame trap. Actually crazy that you can do this. So technically you could make your opponent respect your puddles, and then they become more real. But the big thing is that there is a normal that allows for a safe on-block puddle cancel, and that is 6C. 6C puddle cancel is -5, which is fucking crazy. Like, I can make him press 5A. I do it in his face, and look, I'm safe. This is your safest way to check shield, and it's perfect because it is on the normal, like I said, that gets shielded the most. So, you know, let's have them shield again. Oops. So see, on 6C puddle cancel on with green shield, it's actually very plus. You can actually grid break them. You can off of the other ones as well. But 6C is going to be your best bet. You have a very strong point where you can puddle cancel, and it's just a complete RPS point for the opponent. Because you can really sit in puddle after 6C. 6C just has a lot of block stun for some reason. Like, look, I can go all the way down to the floor, sit for a second, and then still frame trap. That's how good it is. 6C puddle cancel is really good. Gives you enough time to move out of the way as well. So sometimes I will just do this. Like stuff like that. It's super duper strong. But keep in mind, puddle uses grid. It does use grid. Keep that in mind. So you don't want to go too crazy, but you can use your puddle cancels. It is very strong. In this game, it's super strong. That is my next big tip. So next one, let's talk about, we're still talking about puddle. Puddle is just broken. Let's show off good old broken puddle interactions. So puddle actually got Giga buff in the new patch. So she is a projectile invul way earlier now. It's a lot better. You want to see how fast it is now? This is how fast it is now. Ooh. Should work. There you go. It's super fast now. So So, on reaction to pretty much majority of EX fireballs, she can just easily get under them. It's so funny. And you can just punish Akatsuki. You can just straight up punish him for it. What's another interesting... yeah, we can just keep doing Akatsuki. Akatsuki's got all the perfect examples that we need to show this off, right? So, Akatsuki, you're in fireball pressure. Now Akatsuki has to worry about Uzuki randomly puddling in a box string and getting Dolphin. And then we have more in the fact that not only is she projectile invul earlier, she's also lower to the floor, which leads to funny shit like this. Very funny stuff. Oh, it's so sick. It's so awesome. It's so funny. So you can just go under it. 5BB. It's actually so funny. So even Lon doesn't have like a safe. He doesn't have a safe mash option against his character. Yeah. Experiment, lab, figure out what things Uzuki can go under. Because even I don't know everything she can go under. Let's investigate real quick ourselves as a team. She does. She can't punish him, but it's so... Like, that's how low to the floor she gets. That's all you need to know. You're probably gonna have to do something freaky, but, like, that's how low to the floor she gets. You're here to be... You know, you're here to be mean. So, just go under stuff. Just be a menace. Super good buff for the character. Next one, we have 3 more. So, another very simple one to apply. And is that, did you know everything on this character is like active for 5 frames, 4 frames? Did you know that Charge Coffin, if you hit it, so Charge Coffin is plus, right? That's already pretty good, +2, but you can make it more plus. If you hit on a later active frame, you can make this move like +7 on block, which is crazy. Because you can just do that and check people easily. It's actually nuts. So spacing your coffins, your charge coffins, is very important. You can do it with C coffin as well. It's a lot harder because it hits at a very weird angle. But you can do the exact same thing with charge C coffin. Definitely something you want to practice. Get used to figuring out where the coffin drops. Figuring out the range where you need to be, where you can make it more plus. Yeah, very simple tip. Don't really need to talk about it that much, I'd say. So yeah, simple. Just space out your charge coffins. Next we have Air 214A. So this is an A stance coffin. So actually, if you didn't know, round start is perfect to show this, which is funny. Is that, so if you do coffin up close like this, you're just punishable. So I'm gonna have the hide player 6B. You're just dead. You can't stop anything. You can't retreat. I mean, I guess you can. Well, you can retreat, but you're gonna get punished. Like, you can't get out. Okay, you can get out, but keep in mind, when you teleport back, you're going to get punished. The teleport back after is very minus. You will die for this. But if you space out your A coffin, so your A air coffin, space it out, you're actually plus. So you can frame trap after. Everyone talks about how kind of rough it is to get into coffin stance, but there is ways you can get into it, and funny enough, it is just spacing this out. So you can do, you know, an A to frame trap, and then when they block, you know, you can do C to get a little mix up, or, you know, when they're really scared, you get to throw them. Learning the spacings of when your coffin is plus. If it hits, you'll usually be able to tell the difference. You know, if it hits like that, like on the side, if it hits on the side, it's definitely your turn, like that. And then the best part is about this is that if you fuck up, you can make yourself safe. Isn't that awesome, guys? Hand bait reversals. Oh wait, you can jump out of the way? What the hell? I didn't know that. I just learned that. On the spaced one, you can jump away. If you're an Uzuki player that likes her coffin stance stuff, if you're one of those people, this is a very good tip. And then we have our final tip, which is another way to use CS. say you are afraid of your opponent DPing. We all know, we've all fought against a hide player that doesn't block. And we want to keep our turn safely, even on our own knockdown. So what do? I will show you. There you go. So you can use CS and a coffin. 214A is actually, I think, active for like 11 frames. So you can use this as a meaty so that you can safely bait out reversals. So I throw them, you know, and then I do coffin, CS, and there you go. That's it. It's very easy to do. Super, it's very, very easy. Remember what I said before. You know, using your CS early is not bad because when you use your CS earlier, you get to play for the cycle later. That is every tip that I could think of off the top of my head that, you know, depending on what level you are, you might find some of them more useful and applicable for you at the moment. But, you know, all of them are really good. And, you know, even if you could take a little bit of bits and pieces, you know, taking bits and pieces is also, you know, just good enough for me, and that make me very happy as well. So yeah, I appreciate all of the people, you know, pulling up for the tips. You know, because Uzuki really needs some kind of guide content, because she is a lot. I'd say she's the most complex, like I said, the most complex character that we've had in a long time, because, you know, the items, you have the items, you have her coffin stance. Like, she has a lot going on. A lot of stuff, actually. So, I know it's a lot for everyone, so I just wanted to give these tips, because a lot of them are things that I do as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I appreciate it.